Guys, watching a football team every Saturday with an offense that's totally lifeless, the best team of my lifetime that had a good offense was ruined by a random loss that kept them out of the playoffs. And, year in, year out, they waste a good defense. And, every weekend I'm back for more. But enough about the New York Jets. Let's talk about Pitt. Gotcha, motherfuckers.
First down, goes to the sidelines, has a man wide open. It's tipped. MJ Devin Shire. He loves those moments. It reminds me of last year in the Garden against St. John. And guys just stepped up. Blake hits a what the hell 3. We're like, what are you doing? And he's done that all year.
Klicka out to Bizzario. It's over. The Pitt Panthers have upset Wisconsin.
Anybody if he hits his field goal. Up and got it. Sauls does it again.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Simplify Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky, depressed Jets fan, joined by my co-hosts, Mason Kling and Kent Vanderwood, fans of good NFL teams.
Two of maybe the best. Two of the top 3, I would say.
Yeah.
And yet my team is 1-0 against these two.
The Jets only beat good teams. They lose to the bad ones.
So the Chargers, by that metric, are bad, which, yeah, sure, fine. Yep. Mason, how we doing tonight?
Okay. The loss stings a little less when you can turn the TV on Monday night and watch some Pitt hoops, especially the way that they played. I know we're going to get into all that, but it takes a little bit of the sting off,
100%. Yeah, I'm just so glad that there's another sport we can get fully invested into, live with it, die with it. And are we going to overreact to playing one of the worst teams in the country? You're damn right we're going to do it again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Kent, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good. Despite the L, we covered.
Yeah, good. Hey, good teams win. Average teams cover.
Wofford, by the way, still winless in the FCS. Just had to check on that real quick. I guess it's not as funny when they're not our only win, but just sort of keeping a running tally on that. Before we get into anything else, remember, follow the podcast at Simplified Pod. Remember to do the plugs this time. And, let's get into it. Pitt Hoops. We're back. They looked awesome. They won 100-52 over North Carolina A&T. I think that's the first time they've scored 100 in almost a decade. And but where else to start besides Bub Carrington? We've got a new Bub.
New Bub on the block.
World's first Bub podcast. We stand them all. We ride for them all, but especially the triple-double getters.
Now, triple bubble. How do we feel about that?
I like it.
Did you see that he was on? I believe he's the second ACC player to have a triple double in his debut game. And then, this is what I wanted to pull up here. It's the first triple double in Pitt history since March 1998, and I believe none of us were alive at that point, if I'm correct. Nope. Getting some head shakes. No, okay, I am correct. That was honestly just special. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, there was a point where Capel was kind of about to take him out of the game. Then the Oakland Zoo got the triple-double chance going. He checked right back in and got that last assist. The place just erupted.
See, not only are we a sixth man, we're also another coach on the bench. You can't discount that. Come on.
Yeah, taking him out when he had 9 assists, it was like, come on, man. And
Well, it was funny too because right before he was about to get pulled, he like passed the ball to Blake Hinson, who took one of his, textbook way too deep threes, and it like rimmed out. And I think the
it was like
combination,
halfway down.
yeah, it was like halfway down and out, and the combination of that being the triple double with like the Hinson three would have been a perfect like cap to the game. But he still got it. He got back in. It was pretty. Cool.
Was it Jorge Diaz-Graham that got him the triple double? I forget. I don't know off the top of my head.
It was one of the twins. I can't remember if it was Jorge or Guillermo that hit that one.
Well, actually, I do want to talk about the Twins national. Unless we have anything else to say about our new bub.
Baltimore boy. Super impressive. You could just tell. I honestly wasn't aware how tall he was before the game. But when you saw him out on the court, it was like, all right, he has some height to him. He's 6'5". Went in, got some tough rebounds. His jump shot, super smooth, not afraid to shoot over guys off the dribble. Really excited. He has some stuff that you just, it's going to carry into the ACC play. It looks good against a team like that. It's also going to look good against a good team.
Right. And it's like, even if we said we're going to overreact, that's exactly what we're doing right now. But even if that's not, like, obviously we're not going to get that Bub Carrington every single game, because if he did that, it would be ridiculous. But just the fact to see that potential, your first start as a college player, and you do that, it just, gives you a world of hope for the team, for him. It's awesome to see.
One of the things I think is underrated from his stat line, he went 4 for 7 from three in that performance. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Like, we knew we were losing a lot of shooting from last year with Nelly coming on, Nike Sabandi, Greg Elliott. But like, if we can have a true freshman step in and like, maybe you don't shoot 4 for 7 every night, but if you can knock down 4 threes on however many attempts, that is still a huge plus to any game he's going to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought his most impressive bucket of the night, he had one where he drove down toward the baseline, just pull up on the baseline out toward the arc, and just shot it right over, just nailed it. But I think Capel spoke to that even before the game and stuff. I'd been seeing some quotes from Capel a week or two ago, just talking about his ability to shoot off the dribble, and his ability to just basically create shots himself off the dribble, which is something that we haven't necessarily had outside of, Jamarius Burton, but from like a true point guard. And the ability to shoot over people with the height he has too, it's going to be sweet.
Whenever you can get to your spot and just, rise up and hit a jumper, that's huge for everybody, just for the whole entire offense as a whole. It opens so many things up, like you said, Ken.
I also loved how, like, his assists weren't only just dish outs for threes. Like, there were a lot of, not even just him, but a lot of assists tonight were just people lobbing it up, like fast break shit. Like, if we have more, like, this is a total overreaction, but if we're doing like that fast break shit every game, like, I really like that, because I think one of my complaints with Jeff Capel's offense the last couple of years has been so much ISO. And if we're moving the ball like that, oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's the way NBA can have their ISO ball or whatever, but that's the way that college ball is designed to be played. So,
yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah, for sure. Team basketball, Spurs basketball.
Yeah. Everybody gets 2 touches of the rock and you score.
Yeah. With all the threats they seem to have, man, we'll get into some other people, but yeah, if they can move the ball and just have threats all over the court, it's going to be tough to defend.
Yeah.
One of what's like the scariest part to like other teams, like, this is a quiet Blake Hinson night. Like, he did hit a couple like moonshot, what the hell threes, as Jeff Capel put it, but he was only 2 for 5 from three, 5 of 11 overall. Like, Blake Hinson's not even like fully Blake Hinson yet. One game into the season.
Yeah, start off the game, he hit signature deep three to lead us off. Then scored the next bucket. He had the first 5 points of the game, but after that, yeah, he had a relatively quiet night. But yeah, him and Federico, I think, scored the first 13 points of the game. So the two returning guys really just like got us off to a hot start. Then the other guys maybe got a little more comfortable, got involved, but Federico looked good.
I was very impressed with what I saw early from Fetty. Felt like last year he would get a lot of points because he was there cleaning up rebounds or kind of dribble drive, penetration, dish stuff. But it felt like he was just a bigger part of the offensive scheme this year. Like they were trying to get him the ball in the post. They were running. He seems like he's better with the ball in his hands. There were a couple times where he was even kind of driving the ball, and I was like, "Whoa, is that the same guy?" Because before there just wasn't a lot of that. A bunch of alley-oops in this game, which was cool. Like it feels like he's now really a staple. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, I assume some of that goes into play with just a full off season of him knowing he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
As opposed to last year where he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, seemed like he got stronger. Speaking of getting stronger, looked like the Twins put on some weight as well. More confidence out of not only Fetty but the Twins as well. So we can maybe talk about them in a minute. But
yeah, just one thing before we go to the Twins. I do want to talk about the Twins. Did you see? I think it was in Jeff Capel's post game conference. He was like you said, a full off season. Fetty looked a lot better with the ball, more confident. I think what he attributed to is actually over the offseason playing for Finland's national team. Like that definitely, I think he probably learned a lot about like ball handling and like timing and driving. It was like last year, you're right. He was super raw. He was called on to be the guy when he was just supposed to be like the bench guy when Hughley got tired. Yeah, I blanked on his name for a second. But yeah, man, he looked really good. And then the Twins, man. I mean, Guillermo did have a quiet night, but Jorge Diaz-Graham, 3 for 3 from 3, 5 for 5 shooting overall. He shoots so incredibly smoothly for a 7-foot tall guy.
His shot looked really smooth last night, yeah, and he hit those 3 threes pretty much right back to back to back. The third one was for sure a heat check. Basically, go stand in the corner, we'll drive and dish it out to you. And yeah, he hit it. And then not only did he have the 3 threes postered just on the dude's head right after too. Yeah, he had his 5 minutes of fame.
There were a lot of impressive blocks from all three bigs, I guess you call them, with the Twins and Fetty. Like it felt like, again, this is probably the opponent that we're playing, but anytime they got to the rim, it felt like it was 50-50 if it was getting sent back or not. So I think there were some strides made on the defensive end for all three of those guys also.
I think a big part of it, too, is that we knew Fede was hurt down the stretch last season. Like, that definitely affected his play. I know Jorge was kept out a lot of the late season with an injury, and he didn't look as good. But, like, him getting confident with that 3-ball, like, we saw it a couple times last season where he would hit a timely 3, but, like, he wouldn't hit that many. If he can, like, be consistent with that, that is something, like, there's not a lot of teams that can defend a 7.3-foot shooter.
Well, that's what they were saying it on the broadcast. They were like, if you're 7 feet tall and you can spread the floor like that to the perimeter, you're going to get paid pretty big, like good money to go play professionally someday. Mm-hmm. So it's like to have that advantage at the college level is just insane. And I really hope they kind of keep on that trajectory.
Yeah. Not only do we have the 2 Twins that can do that, Zach Austin also made his Panthers debut last night. He had at least 1 sick block, 2 hands.
The most disrespectful type of block that there is, just going up and grabbing it out of the air.
Yeah. And, I mean, they showed him on a short list of guys that had, his basically, I can't remember if it was percentage of threes or number of threes that he hit, last year plus, blocks, that kind of thing, or defensive efficiency. It was something like that. But he was on a short list with like Kevin Durant and some other dudes that have made it to the NBA. But pretty much a 3-and-D type of guy, able to block a lot of shots, really athletic, but can also shoot well from the outside. So, yeah, I think height, obviously a big thing on this team. We went from, I think our freshman year, we had 0 height, and we had Ryan Luther, and that was it. To now having multiple 7-footers. Papa Conti is also out, but hopefully be back next year.
Well, that's the thing. We were doing all this, and I feel like we're still not even at the precipice. Like we're doing this despite the fact that we're missing a couple key pieces right now, which is like great to see guys step up. But it's still kind of like dangling the carrot in front of us still too, where there's more to come here. We're still getting better.
Yeah. Leggett also had a pretty good game. I mean, all the transfers, they look pretty solid. Obviously, there weren't tense situations or runs that we really had to fight back, whatever. We were just kind of doing whatever we wanted out there. But, yeah, there was a sick oop to Zach Austin also that he threw down.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, a couple good drives from Leggett. I think he hit a 3 too. I mean, yeah, everybody was contributing. I mean, I was glad. 2 years ago, this team lost to the Citadel by double digits in the first game, to now winning by 50 points.
And that's why we can overreact and sit here and kind of praise things right now because of where this team was a couple years ago. Just a really short time period ago, things were really, really bad. So we're going optimist mode. And
do you guys remember where you were when we lost to the Citadel? I remember exactly where I was. It was one of those moments for me.
I don't. I'll be honest.
Fair enough. That's just me.
Where were you?
I was at a place called World of Beer.
Like the beer store right next to my house?
No, so it's a bar, but
okay.
Yeah.
Just one of those moments that's really stuck with you, huh?
It's really stuck with me. So
maybe that'll be a trivia question one day.
So yeah, to go from that 2 years ago to like you said, I think we're allowed to overreact a little bit.
Everybody's doing it. That's why they play these games, man. So everybody can look great first game back and get all hyped up, except for Michigan State.
Ooh, tough one.
Number 4 team in the country, Michigan State, lost to JMU, who I don't think is a bad team, but when you're a number 4 ranked team in the country, you should probably handle them.
I mean, UNC didn't look great. West Virginia was losing to Missouri State for a while. Like it was a tough opening day, and to win your game by 50 points, just not have to worry about that, that's a great feeling.
Easiest cover in the world, too. We were 24.5 point favorites. There was maybe 2 minutes in the first half where things they got a little scoring wall, and I wasn't sure. But then it was from halftime on, smooth sailing, and we love that from the Panthers.
Louisville, I watched the end of that game. I mean, they're supposed to be awful this year. They almost lost to UMBC. Should have lost to UMBC. They kind of got away with a foul that ended up as a steal for the game-winning bucket. They think it came down to a missed free throw by UMBC at the end. So,
wow.
All right, so looking forward for this, I don't know if we have anything else on this game. Just all overreaction. It's all sunshine. We need some sunshine in our lives after this football season.
Yeah.
So looking forward here, we've got Binghamton up next on Friday, 7:00. Florida Gulf Coast on, I believe that's Monday.
Lob City.
Is that the Lob City team? That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. So we got Lob City
coming
down.
Since 2015, but
yeah. However, none of those teams are above 100 in Ken Palm, even though it's It's the first day of Ken Palm. The first team that we're really playing that should be a challenge is Florida on the 22nd. They're currently ranked 40th, and then Missouri on the 28th, and they are ranked 56th. Pittsburgh is 54th for anyone keeping track at home.
Yeah, the 22nd, that's like that mini tournament we play in New York and Brooklyn. So
is that I know Missouri is
the
like
Florida, and then the winner and then if we win, we play the winner of the other game, and if we lose, then we play the loser of the other game.
Who's in? Is it like Oregon's in that or something?
I want to say it's Oregon. I don't remember who Oregon's playing, but
it is the NIT season tip-off, which crazy ass event. It is. Oh, sorry. It's us, Florida, Baylor, and Oregon State.
Okay. Yeah. So if we win, we play the winner of Baylor, Oregon State, or the loser.
And then Missouri is the SEC ACC challenge, which replaced the Big Ten ACC challenge, if I remember correctly.
Yep. So, yeah, good to get some Power 5 competition in there. I was actually looking ahead at the schedule a little bit, too, out of curiosity. Last night, we play one ACC game in December. So we play Clemson at home. Clemson's supposed to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, that'll be a really good test.
So that's on Sunday, December 3rd. In Pittsburgh. So, yeah, and then we play West Virginia. That's a big week. Yeah, Clemson and then West Virginia that week, and then a lot of those lesser teams again after that. So until we get into ACC play. So,
listen. All I'm going to say, we'll be back next week with more overreactions from playing bad teams. We're going to promise you that.
Yeah, I just hope. Yeah, I hope they keep coming out strong. I hope they don't come out flat, thinking they're just going to automatically win by 50 every time against any of these teams. Come out motivated. Can't afford to lose one of them. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say I might be the only Pitt fan in the world that really wants to beat the piss out of Binghamton, because like half my high school went there. So if we win, I can, go home for Thanksgiving and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you lost to Pitt by how many points in basketball?" Binghamton, by the way, won all-time NCAA tournament appearance, and then they got popped for cheating. So
nice.
That's my Binghamton basketball fun fact. I don't even think they're. Oh no, this is an ESPN Plus game. Okay.
You just see like a picture of Connor Stallions on their bench with a clipboard. He's everywhere, man.
Dude, I want to have Connor Stallions on this podcast so badly.
He's not talking to anybody, so I.
But what do you talk to us? A couple of white boys who are nice with it.
We made it. Could be the perfect storm.
Let's just you know what? I bet he's hanging around the Naval Academy. Let's just accidentally bump into him. Be like, kidnap him. Have him on the podcast. Who knows? We're a bunch of brave patriots trying to talk to Connor Stallions. All right. Well, that's enough of talking about good things. Let's talk about football, which sucks.
Yeah.
Football sucks. We lost 24-7. That's right. Sounds about right. Against Florida State. Pitt is no longer bowl eligible, which I'm thankful for, because I think that means Frank Cinetti will not have a job after this year. And also, that's one less game I got to watch of this crappy team.
Yeah, and it was kind of to be expected. I know we were hopeful there for a while, maybe after the Louisville game, but schedule didn't really allow for much margin of error after the start to the year. So tough sledding from here on out, but just playing for some Panther pride, baby.
Yeah. I want to get to that actually in a little bit. But first I want to talk about the refs. I still don't know why Gavin Bartholomew got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, seemingly for no reason. The ACC will not explain that. They're not talking to anybody, just like Connor Stallions. And then the missed face masks on Kanata Mumfield on what would have been a long touchdown. And then, so I don't know if I'm remembering this rule wrong, but the Florida State player who recovered the fumble just had his legs out of bounds. I believe that's a penalty. I don't know if Pitt keeps the ball, but overall, a terrible. I don't know if that touchdown helps us. I don't know if we win the game with that. It looks better. It looks nice and score 14 instead of 7, but I don't know. It's insult on top of injury at that point.
Yeah, I mean, as much as like people want to harp on the face mask and stuff, bro, you gotta hang on to the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no excuse for fumbling that, dude. You get in the end zone or hang on to the ball and go down at the one. That's the one thing you can't do.
Literally the only thing that couldn't happen.
And it's like he could have fumbled the ball out of bounds, to the sideline. You can't fumble it out of the end zone. That's literally just the one note.
That's the thing too. If he fumbled it 10 yards earlier and it rolled out of bounds, okay, cool, fine, whatever. But yeah, when you're that close, that's got to be like the first thing on your mind is ball security, then score. And man, it sucks because that, like you said, Zach, would that have made us win the game? I don't know, probably not. The offense couldn't really get going minus that. Mm-hmm. But coming out and having that punch in the mouth sure does change the narrative. Like, who knows what happens from there?
Yeah.
Would we have tied the game with that, or we've gone up 14-7 with that one? I don't remember.
I thought that was would have been the first touchdown of the game.
Would it have?
Yeah, I think so.
Because there was a point I remember saying we should legitimately be up 14-0 right
14-0, yeah.
Right, because we ended up scoring first anyway, which is actually a very nice touchdown pass to Bub Means on that. I will give the offense credit on that one. But yeah, I can kind of see it.
Like, especially if we're up, like the whole punch in the mouth thing, if you score that touchdown and then offense comes down, puts that drive together that they did after that, and it's like, oh shit, we got a ball game here.
Yeah, it was one of those games again where defense was balling early, offense wasn't giving them anything in return, and then you get that huge completion only to have a fumble at the 1 yard line and turnover again. How do you think the defense was feeling when they went back out there at that point?
Yeah, it just takes the air out of you.
Yeah, exactly. Huge momentum swing. It may not have won us the game, but hey, that changes the morale of your whole team a lot very early in that football game. And especially as Mason mentioned, like if we had gone up 14-0, like who knows?
The way the defense was playing, if you give them a 14-point lead, like I wouldn't
rule it out.
I wouldn't rule them or count them out in that game. But it was just same narrative as Notre Dame, where you can only get so many stops so many times before the dam breaks, and it didn't break nearly as bad with the final score, but it happened.
Yeah, and like to give all the credit in the world to the defense for this game, like holding Florida State, the number 4 team in the country, excellent offense. I mean, they dropped 40 on Wake the week prior, holding them to 24. Very impressive. Like, just a great performance from the defense on Saturday. I mean, yeah, maybe that touchdown changes momentum. I mean, even if we don't score any more points, 24-14 actually looks pretty good. And, like, you kind of feel good about that game. 24-7, but.
Even though we still covered, it's like the way that game started would have at least, I don't know, would have liked some more there on the final score.
Yeah, so just a couple stats. I don't know if I have really anything else specific about this game because everything kind of sucked on offense. Everything was pretty good on defense until, eventually they're going to out-talent you with the recruits that Florida State gets. But between Florida State and the Notre Dame game, Pitt is now combined 1 of 22 on third down. After scoring 31 points on offense against Louisville, they have scored 31 points combined against Wake Forest, Notre Dame, and Florida State. Just fire, Frank.
What was that stat? 1 of 22 on third down?
1 of 22.
Yeah, that's good.
I believe they were 0 for against Notre Dame.
It's better than 0 for 22.
I would almost rather 0 for. I'd rather.
Yeah, when you have 0 for, it's at least. Oh my God, that's awful. You're never going to win games doing that.
No. I'm actually curious, what were we in the Wake Forest game? I'm going to go look at that real quick. Because that's probably...
Well, I know we had at least one miss with the slide.
We weren't good in that game, I don't think. Do they have this on the box score? I hope they do. They don't. Team stats, sorry, my bad. This is awesome podcasting. We were 9 for 20 on third down in that game, so...
Should have been 10 for 20 with a win.
We would be 10 for 42 in the last 3 games. Good God. Oh, okay.
When you're a statistical outlier in the last 3 games is a sub 50% third down conversion, that's fucking awful.
Yeah. I saw this stat about the Jets today or last night on the broadcast. The Jets are a historically bad outlier in both third down percentage and red zone percentage, both of which are under 25%. You never want to have a Jets stat on offense. You never want to be in the Jets zone. Okay. Well, as we say every week on this show, fire Frank Signetti. He stinks. He sucks. So moving forward, unfortunately, I hate saying this, Syracuse is probably the most gettable game left on the schedule. Syracuse is in kind of a slide. They are, I believe, the only winless team in the ACC. They're on a 5-game losing streak. They're without their best player, Rondé Gadsden.
And just lost to BC this past weekend. So
BC, who is bowl eligible, that was a miss by us. I was really low on them. Gotta have this one. Now, I will say, so question to you guys, because I'm going to go to something else. Do you want to see Nate Yarnell play at all? Or just stick with Christian? What do you guys think?
Stick with Maple Marino.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't hate it either way, I guess. But yeah, my initial thought is also sticking with.
Leave the QB battle for the offseason. If you don't have one, you've got none. So let's at least have one until the end of the season. That's
Okay,
my piece.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, I agree. Like, if you end up sitting Christian, like you stunt his development. I mean, hopefully there's a new OC who comes in who actually develops him. But you stunt his development, you really kill a young quarterback's confidence if he loses 3 straight, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, buddy, you're back on the bench. But outside of quarterback, I would like to see more of the young guys playing in this game, because now a bunch of them did play in one game with the Wofford game getting out of hand. They did have one of their 4 games against their red shirt counted there. But now that there's only 3 games left in the season, I mean, there's pretty much no reason to not start playing some of these guys. You think about like certain positions, right? Defensive tackle, you have Devin Danielson, Tyler Bentley, and David Green. All 3 of those guys, they do not have any eligibility left. You kind of want to see more of the young guys there, maybe even at cornerback. I mean, guys like Kenny Johnson and the linebackers have burned their red shirts, but it's just time to see some of the young guys and see what we've got with this roster.
Yeah, agreed. I think pretty much everywhere else aside from the quarterback position is let's make it open competition from here on out. Mm-hmm. Especially since I don't feel like there's anybody on this squad really like vying for drafts, hopefuls or anything like that. Like it's let everybody get a fair shot here and get the competition back.
I'm actually trying to think who would. Oh, geez, that's a tough question. It's like, the rumor is that like Matt Gonsalves is going to be going to the NFL draft, but he's hurt; he can't play anyway, so that doesn't matter. MJ Devonshire, maybe. Like you're probably not gonna sit him. The one thing I will say, I've seen enough Sibo Flemister. I know, everything I hear, he's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. He just got named team captain before the Florida State game. I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more Sibo Flemister. I don't need to see any more Wildcat Rodney Hammond. Just show me some of the young running backs. I'd like to see them.
You want to see Bo Flemister on the bench, right?
Ooh, that was a that was a groaner.
Cut that.
We're leaving that in.
All right.
I think Frank Signetti's got like a ton in the vault. He's just been waiting for the right moment to pull it out.
He's waiting until we got 7 losses and we couldn't make a bowl. God. Oh. Well, you know what? You know what the good thing is? If enough teams aren't bowl eligible, James Madison gets to play. That's what we're hoping for here. We did our part.
Yeah, we're doing our part for the JMU cause. Well, good news for us this weekend, Zach, right? The teams that wear white and blue always win in Yankee Stadium?
That's right. That's right. Hey, we wear yellow too. Yankees don't wear yellow. And I'm sorry, but the Yankees had the same number of postseason wins as the Orioles did this year. So I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
fair enough.
That is a low blow for me to be going to as a Yankee fan. I'm in a bad place. Ryan Cashman was embarrassing today. Okay, I don't have anything else on Pitt football. Please beat Syracuse. Play the young guys. Fire Frank.
They can earn their pinstripes this week.
How bad would a Pitt pinstripe uniform look? Like,
I mean, they do it for baseball and it doesn't look awful, but on a football uniform, I don't know.
On a foot, because like I just remember the Notre Dame pinstripes, and those are terrible.
It's a baseball thing. Let's leave it on the diamond, man.
I was not trying to suggest. I do not want that. I want no part of that. So
Zach, I should just go into the stadium on Saturday and start yelling 27 rings, right? That's what I'm supposed to do.
I mean, listen, they will embrace you as one of their own. They will give you the Yankee with full brim, full 360, and they will just adorn you with 27 rings. They will keep putting them on your fingers until your hands are so weighed down you cannot get up off the ground. You will be sunk into the concrete at Yankee Stadium, and you will just become part of Monument Park.
All right. Well,
should I wear my Timbs this weekend? Is that proper protocol for this game? Dead ass.
If you don't, they'll kill you.
Okay.
Like a full Tim check.
It's like instead of metal detectors, they just have you walking through the Tim check, where they just have to make sure you got your Timbs on.
It's like a little pressure plate, right? And like, you give them your height and weight, and if you don't have heavy enough shoes, it doesn't set off the detector. They just shoot you and kill you.
But yes, Mason and I will be in attendance in Yankee Stadium to watch a 2-7 Pitt football team on Saturday.
Where are you guys tickets for that? Because it's like there's not a lot of great seats. I've been to 2 pinstripe bowls, which is crazy fun fact, but not a great place to see a game.
We are sitting on the third base line, which is the Pitt sideline, lower level.
That's the better sideline to sit on.
So, yes, we will. We will see.
You don't want to sit on the first base side. That is not the place to sit and watch that game. But let's talk about some out of town scores, shall we?
Yeah.
Just going to sort of rip through these because I'll be honest, I did not watch most of these games. I caught up on the highlights. Georgia 30, Mizzou 21. Mizzou kept it close for a very long time, and then their quarterback crapped their pants, threw 2 picks. I only put this in here because Georgia kind of looks mortal. They have Ole Miss coming up this week, which we'll talk about, and Tennessee the week after. So I want the SEC to get weird. But props to Mizzou for keeping it closer with Georgia than any other team has besides Ohio State. So
might be time to
definitely lied. We are on the first base side. I just realized that when you.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm sorry.
I got my bases mixed up.
Can't be doing that, Ken.
Mason, continue your thought.
Give me what?
Continue your thought.
Oh, wouldn't hate a sprinkle on Alabama to win the SEC right now. That's all I'm saying.
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
Actually, we'll do that right now. Alabama 42, LSU 28. Jalen Milroe and Jaden Daniels were going fucking score for score, punch for punch, and then Jalen Daniels gets hurt. Not Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels gets hurt for LSU. What should have been a really good game in the end just turned into a one-sided blowout. But God, that LSU defense is so bad. It's so fucking bad. But like Mason said, it's like Alabama's kind of figured out how to win with Jalen Milroe. You know,
Exactly.
he's not a Mac Jones, he's not a Tua, he's not a Bryce Young, he's not a passer, but he can run the fuck out of the ball. He had 150 yards and 4 scores on the ground. Which, funny enough, actually, I think Daniel said 160, but in one less quarter. But yeah, I mean, listen, all they do with Milroe is they give him deep bombs and they run the fuck out of the ball with him. And I don't think Alabama's gonna lose. Probably until SEC championship, maybe. I mean, they could kind of beat Georgia. Alabama football totally butchered that song.
Yeah, just like you said, it feels like they figured it out and they're kind of on this upward trajectory. And I wouldn't say Georgia's necessarily falling off, but it feels like they've kind of plateaued with the way that this game went. It was very gettable for Mizzou. So I don't know. I've also been in the camp all year that Georgia's the best team in the country until proven otherwise, but wouldn't be surprised if the Tide kind of come back and claim the crown.
I'm trying to figure out when Brock Bowers comes back, because that is a huge deal for Georgia if they can get him back by the SEC championship. I don't know when he's coming back. He got hurt in week 6. I think he'll be back in time for the possible playoff game, but I don't know if he's going to be back for the SEC championship. Like you said, ever since Alabama lost to Texas and they had that really gross game against South Florida, they've just figured out with Milroe. And I mean, the remaining schedule is at Kentucky, SoCon Saturday, at Auburn. I mean, at this point, they would have to lose, I believe, both games to miss the SEC title game. I mean, things get weird at Auburn to kind of derail playoff hopes, but I don't hate Alabama to win the SEC. I think it's probably get pretty good odds on it right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that, but continue going through the games.
Okay. Next game. So rest in peace to the Grink. Alex Grinch has been fired after a 52-42 loss, Washington over USC. As much as I rag on Caleb Williams, and I think he doesn't have that dog in him, he did play very well in this game outside of one fumble, but Washington putting up 52 points on USC. Lincoln Riley, about 2 years too late, said, "I've had enough of Alex Grinch," and he's been killed. He has been sentenced to death. Well, he was sentenced to death and killed. But yeah, USC, I am glad that I don't have to think about this team in sort of a national context. However, I am sad because I wanted to see how many points Oregon could put up against Alex Grinch, and now I don't get to see that, and I'm sad. You got the odds?
You're telling me you can fire a coordinator in the middle of a season? What?
Some are saying that you can do that, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, right.
For all I know,
updated odds for Bama to win the SEC anywhere from plus 200 to plus 160 is what I'm seeing. So you still get, plus odds for that.
Where's that plus 200 at?
It says it is FanDuel.
Okay.
Per Vegas Insider.
Well, I have something to do on my phone while I read these other scores off. Next game up, Oklahoma State 27, Oklahoma 24 in what might be the last bedlam in years, sort of a rivalry going the way of the backyard brawl. Oklahoma State takes care of business, does the right thing, says fuck you to the team leaving for the SEC. I mean, I watched the highlights for this game. I made sure to. This was just a banger start to finish. Oklahoma State's quarterback, who I'm blanking on his name, it's Alan Bowman, he played a fantastic game. Ollie Gordon is the running back you've never heard of before the season, but he currently leads the entire country in rushing yards. I mean, right now, Oklahoma obviously dead in the water for anything really, but Oklahoma State pretty much had the inside track to the Big 12 title game, and they can go ahead and knock Texas out too, which would be really funny.
They've had one of the more quietest kind of runs to possibly winning the Big 12, maybe ever.
They were dead in the water. They lost back-to-back games to South Alabama and Iowa State, and then they won 5 straight, and now they're basically in the driver's seat for that second spot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I don't believe they play Texas at all this year, so they won't be able to jump each other like that. But yeah, Oklahoma State is
Mike Gundy, man.
They're real. They're fucking real. Also, Clemson beat Notre Dame. That's weird. Didn't know how that happened. Shout out Arkansas, first ever win in the Swamp in overtime over Florida. And then shout out Iowa and Northwestern. 10-7 victory. Another easiest under bet of my life. The under-over parlay we talked about on last show.
Hit by a mile.
On both sides. On both sides, hit by a mile. Okay. Any other games you guys want to talk about, or let's go into the preview next week?
One comment for the Clemson Notre Dame game. Dabo had an equally funny soundbite after this win, as he did the past couple of games with his loss. Just something about if you're buying stock in Clemson, you better buy right now. He was just super fired up. It was a very funny clip. He was definitely holding that one in for a while, but.
What ACC fan base went the next day and tried to find Clemson on Robinhood?
Yeah.
Because I think it's Clemson fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's look ahead to – oh, God, it's already week 11. The season has flown by. All right.
Oh, wait. I do have one more. Sorry. One more for week 10.
Go ahead.
Air Force falls to Army.
You know how Air Force lost this game? Mm-mm. They turned the ball over 6 times.
That'll do it.
They lost 4 fumbles and threw 2 picks, and then they lost.
That is tough.
That's so bad. Also,
Halloween matchup of the week, Oregon State defeated Colorado, as we expected. It was only by a touchdown, but they did pull it out. So 1-0 in Halloween matchup of the week prediction so far this year.
Wouldn't it be funny Maryland over Penn State?
I don't remember.
I believe that's what it was. The wouldn't it be funny streak is officially over, because that one was never funny. That one was over pretty much from the jump.
Yeah, Maryland came out in the worst uniforms they own.
Yeah.
They have so many good uniforms. They're wearing new all whites this weekend that look sick. They could have chosen anything. They chose to look like McDonald's.
It really did. It was.
They run the fry cooker like the Navy back there, though.
But yeah, tough look for the Terps. They started so well this year, and ever since that loss to Ohio State, they just have not looked the same. So
they got their brains broken by that game, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now I think that's officially all I have for the past week.
Okay, cool. Let's run through week 11. All right. A lot of big games this weekend, and kicking it off, Michigan at Penn State, 12 p.m. on Fox. This is the first big game for Michigan because, Purdue is not a real team. Post Connor Stallions, post Signgate, I still think they beat Penn State handily because it's James Franklin in a big game.
I sure hope so. Again, why is this game at noon? I don't know. But should be a good one. Really hoping that like you said, the same narrative of Penn State not being able to win the big ones kind of holds true here.
I feel like the rest of the country is rooting for Penn State to take the cheaters down. Then Pitt fans are just like, we don't care. Just beat Penn State.
Yeah, it's probably like a weird. There's probably like a weird pocket in only Western Pennsylvania where they're rooting for Michigan. It's like Michigan and Western Pennsylvania, and everywhere else is probably Penn State. But so we're honorary maize and what is it? Maize and blue. Yeah, honorary maize and blue this weekend.
Yeah, blue and gold's close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You could blend in really well at that stadium. By the way, the night game here is Michigan State at Ohio State. That you got to flex that one out. You got to flex that one out, brother. I'm not going to preview that one. I'm just going to stink. Okay. Do you want to talk about Bama at Kentucky? I don't think Kentucky has a chance. No.
Nah.
Do the thing and roll Tide.
Margin of victory here. Over under 30.
What's the spread? Is it 30?
No, it's 10.5. I mean, easy cover for Alabama, but I think they roll Kentucky by like 30.
I don't think they quite get that.
Okay.
That high, but
the Bama defense is really good, and the Kentucky offense is like bad. And I feel like with Jalen Milroe running how he can, Kentucky's not going to have a lot of chances to like just have possession in that game.
That's true. All right, noted. I'm throwing that one in the lay this weekend.
Yeah, alternate line.
Yep.
Biggest you can get. Okay, another one here. Quick thoughts. Miami at FSU 3:30. This one definitely has a lot of fire taken off it because Miami just lost to NC State. They look bad too. They only scored 3 points. It's a rivalry game, but I don't think that. Miami's just not as good. They're just not as good.
Too much juice for the Seminoles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
a couple of pretty good games here in the 3:30 slot, though. On Fox, you got Utah at Washington. I mean, listen, Utah's number 18 in the country. Do I think they're going to win? No, I don't think their offense keep up with Washington's. But Tennessee at Missouri, 3:30 CBS. I think that one's going to be a fireworks show, and I think that's just sort of like your junk food. If you're watching Pitt on one screen, this is your junk food second screen. Just like look over. Hey, it's another touchdown. Oh, look at that, another touchdown. Like this one's going to be the fun game.
I like that. That's a good analogy for what we'll probably be doing.
Like if Utah Washington's like real ball, that's your salad. Tennessee Missouri is like eating 14 Twinkies.
What's the spread in the Washington game, Zach? Do you know?
Washington 9.5.
Taking that.
Tennessee's a 1-point favorite. I don't get that one. I think Missouri's better.
I mean, that's going to be a pick 'em basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
but that's in Missouri. I wouldn't favor Tennessee on the road, but whatever. That's just me. Also, I think you get a lot of value on the over-under there because it's only 58.5 in Tennessee, Missouri. And I think they're probably more likely to both score 30 than they are to not. So, okay. And then the best game in the 3:30 slot, Rutgers at Iowa. Gentlemen, what do you think the over-under here is on this one? No peeking.
So I feel like, dude, it's got to be harder to go lower than it was last week.
30.5 last week.
But then then there was a total of 17 in that game. So I feel like that might have brought it down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go 29. I'm going to go 29.5 here.
Okay, 29.5. Kent, what's your pick?
Because of the way you're asking this, I think it's absurdly low. So I'm going to say 25.5.
28.5.
Wow.
This is the under of a lifetime, folks. I mean, Rutgers has a very good defense. I actually think Rutgers is going to win because they have a slightly better offense than Iowa does. And that's not saying much, but it's like, okay.
So is it Tennessee, Missouri over Rutgers, Iowa under the play for that parlay that we seem to find ourselves in?
I was thinking I didn't see the Tennessee Missouri one in time. I'm gonna sub that one out. I was thinking USC Oregon because that one's at like 73.5.
Yeah, I like that one. Yep, you're 100% right.
Let's make it a 3-legger. Let's go under Rutgers, Iowa, over Tennessee, Missouri, and then over USC Oregon, which we'll get to later because we've got a bit on this podcast. Last game I wanted to talk about here, last sort of big game, 7 o'clock on – what is this here? 7 o'clock on ESPN, Ole Miss at Georgia. I only note this because, Missouri made them look kind of mortal. If there's any team that can maybe do it, no Brock Bowers, Ole Miss can at least score points. Can do it against Georgia defense. I don't know.
Would give Lane Kiffin his kind of marquee upset win for the year to then fade into the darkness. I don't hate that.
It's so funny because Ole Miss is number 9 in the country, and I just kind of feel like they're there. Like they just played a bunch of teams that were worse or flawed. Like they're 8-1. How do we let that happen as a country?
They'll have a pretty good. I mean, we talked to Bama earlier and their track. Crazy to think that Ole Miss has theirs too.
No, they're
on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side. That's right.
They would need Bama to lose twice.
Yeah. If it weren't for the divisions that still exist in the SEC, they'd have their shot. But
yeah, pretty much. Ken, do you have something?
No,
this game.
No, I mean, I think definitely want to keep an eye on 7. Yeah, right after we get out of Yankee Stadium, pop that one on.
It's true. They'll have every fucking channel there. Are you interested at all in West Virginia at Oklahoma? Because I'm not. No, I'm not feeling it either. Okay, I believe, Mason, you have a Wouldn't It Be Funny for us?
I do. And in come the Texas Longhorns. The 7th-ranked Texas Longhorns here. Had a bit of a stinker that they ended up winning against Kansas State this past weekend.
Stinker, yeah.
They see another 2 purple teams back-to-back. Malik Murphy hasn't looked too hot. And 10-point line sure would be funny if the Horned Frogs get it done.
I would say Malik Murphy is sort of a Jalen Milroe style quarterback where he can run really good and he can throw a really mean deep ball. Everything else, you don't really know about it.
Alabama had that really ugly ugly loss to Texas earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they figured it out with Jaden Milroe and have been on this upward trajectory. And then they just kind of cursed Texas with, okay, you guys go win with our quarterback and see how you like it. And Texas has not handled it well. I mean, they've won a lot of these games, but I think that they're not – until Quinn Ewers comes back, they're not the Texas that we should be fearing. So that's kind of why I put them on that pedestal this week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Texas was up 20 points going into the fourth quarter against Kansas State last week, which I forgot to put on the list. I'm sorry about that. But, I mean, they couldn't move the ball at all in the fourth quarter. I think Murphy had 2 turnovers. They got 1 yard of offense in overtime. And, Kansas State goes for it, tries to steal the win in overtime, which I respect. You're a dog. Didn't work out. But, yeah, they really could have easily lost Kansas State last week. And TCU is not the best team in the world, but that makes it even funnier.
Exactly.
I mean, also, send an in-state rival out of the conference, kick him out of the playoff. Unfortunately, this would backdoor a 2 SEC team playoff possibly, but I'm not going to think about that one. I'm choosing not to perceive that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Texas is sitting at 7, keeping Bama out right now because they beat them, and that does bring that into the fold, but still would be funny.
One would be really funny. Texas gets upset, but Ole Miss wins against Georgia. Ole Miss backdoors into the playoff as the 4 seed because of no conference title, but they still have a win over Georgia, and they're not going to let a 2-loss SEC team in. But
oh my god, this is why I love college football, because you can come up with all these crazy scenarios to figure out weird shit to happen.
It's never going to happen.
No.
Okay, and then 10:30, Kent, Christmas matchup of the week. We're back. Tell us about it.
Yes, sir. It's officially the holidays. It's officially Christmas season.
Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet. Come on.
Trust me, I love Thanksgiving.
Christmas has been happening for Kent since September, so
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we got USC at Oregon, 10:30, Fox. I would have liked to see Bo Nix go against the now fired defensive coordinator for the Trojans. So we'll see if the defense for USC steps up at all in this game. Obviously, a tough test to start out with under new leadership. But, yeah, I think the Ducks roll. I've been high on the Ducks all year. Number 6 again tonight in the college football playoff rankings. They're in the hunt still, so they're going to be playing hard. I think Oregon takes this one as well. I'm not sure what the spread is, actually. Do you have that up?
We got Oregon
15.5.
I got it at 16.5 here. So
okay, yeah, it's a pretty big spread. We'll have to think about which side of that I want to be on.
I like Oregon. I like Oregon in that game. They are going to control the shit out of the ball, I think. I just think they're so much of a better team.
Yeah, the way I land on this game is that, like, I actually want to pull up the stats here because, so Oregon is a fantastic rushing team. Like, they have Bo Nix is a threat at quarterback. They got Bucky Irving, and I believe Noah Whittington is their second running back. Like, they are a power rushing team above all else. And, Washington last week, usually it's the Michael Penix show, but their running back Dylan Johnson had 26 carries for 256 yards, 9.8 yards a pop, and 4 touchdowns.
It's a beast. They're
going to run the shit out of the ball, and they're going to probably get everything they want against USC, Grinch or no Grinch. And then, obviously, Washington let up 42 against USC. Oregon's defense, to put it lightly, is a little bit better than Washington's. So I like Oregon. Honestly, I don't like the spread in this one. Like, I just think Oregon will not be stopped from scoring, and USC maybe big backdoor cover game here for USC.
Wait, was it their coordinator's last name was Grinch?
Alex Grinch, the Grinch.
In the Christmas matchup game?
Oh, he got fired. No. The Grinch literally just stole Christmas. No.
Holy shit, that's crazy. I just put that together.
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see the vision. Oh, my God.
There's got to be. Oh, that's so good. That couldn't have worked out better.
He's going to come in and sabotage the game in the fourth quarter. He's going to storm the field.
He's going to be shoving field goal posts up a chimney somewhere inside the stadium.
He's on the sideline. He's stealing Caleb Williams' social media passwords. He's stealing his dog. Did you see the Caleb Williams quote after the Washington loss? Is I just want to go home and watch shows with my dog.
Oh, yeah. He's I want to cuddle with my dog and watch TV shows.
Yeah. Loser talk.
He's just not built like that. And you know what? Alex Grinch is going to steal his dog. He's going to steal Christmas. And
that's so funny.
R.I.P. the Grink.
That dog's going to have sticks for reindeer antlers. And,
yeah. What's his name? Max in the movie?
Yeah.
Max.
Caleb's going to come home after another just brutal loss, and his dog is going to be painted in Oregon colors. A fake beak on. Love the Grinch. Is that going to do it for us?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Simple 5 Podcast. I've been your host, Zach Kaminsky. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, follow the pod on Twitter for all updates at Simple 5 Pod. And me, Mason Kent, see you next week.
See you at Yankee Stadium. Hail to Pitt.
Beat the Orange.
27 rings.